Hello and welcome everyone back to Community Dissection. My name is Bri Leever and my co-host Derrick Chiu.
Hey everyone.
We are so excited to dive into a community that was raved about when we posted on LinkedIn asking for communities that we wanted to see, people wanted to see dissected. It's the Immi Ramen community. And Derrick is going to walk us through the process to find the community, get engaged in the community, and we're going to tear it apart very gently, but also substantially.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. Cool. Can you see my screen? Okay. Awesome. So I was able to do some research into what the Immi Ramen community looks like, what it entails in terms of experience, and I'll kind of go step by step into what I found. So when you first Google Immi Ramen community, this is what pops up. So the first result here is going to this page.
Yeah.
And when I went to this page, you can see that the URL has ambassador. So I think the community is really centered around an ambassador program that they have.
Yep.
And I think I've already signed up for an account, but we can stop here and kind of like just talk about what we're feeling here and what we're seeing here, Bri. Feel free to let me know how you're feeling about this page so far.
Yeah, it's interesting. So one, I love their branding is really beautiful. Like they clearly are very like brand, and I would argue like marketing led company is like my intuition just off of this page and like having seen their other homepage. We're thrilled that you're ready to join our ever-growing community of creatives. You'll be rewarded with free products and earn commission in exchange for sharing Immi with your followers. Okay, interesting. So seems a little bit like Instagram influencer-y,
Yep.
but maybe they're like doing the micro influencer. So yeah, that's interesting. I have thoughts and feelings on these types of programs, but let's continue.
And like, it's definitely, you bring up a really good point about it feeling very influencer, Instagram-esque, and that's something that we will dive into as we explore this a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely feels like, if you want to be an ambassador, you can share content with you and the Immi product in it, and you will get incentives and rewards for doing so. I feel like when I look at this and when I was doing my research, it was like, this feels like the premise of being a part of this community or ambassador program.
Yes. And right off the bat, I do like that they have, so traditional like influencer programs are like you post, we pay, like, well, there's so many different ways you can structure it. But I really like that right off the bat, the first perk is commission based on sales. So it does tell me that like, in addition, it seems like the approved action that they're after is both content and sales. I would argue that probably their first priority is actually content, especially, and I'm 30% affiliate commission is actually like really high for affiliate programs, especially a product based program if there's like a physical product. So that's like a pretty sweet deal, just for the record.
I think so too, and I think it's a good incentive for the ambassador to create content, probably in terms of quantity of content and volume of content, but also quality of content, so that you are thinking about the sales that you're driving, because that is the perk here. So yeah. I think it's a smart program for them for sure.
Yeah.
And you probably I'm assuming with this, you have like a never ending pipeline of content that Immi can create. So yeah. And go down here. And obviously like this right here sends me straight to their Instagram page. their like Instagram page real quick. I just wanted to take a look at it because that is a very central part of this program.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right, Bri, the branding is just on point. It feels like a very relatable brand, a brand that that you want to interact with, you know, so
That's beautiful. And like, I actually worked with a vanilla company, and like, so I've looked at like so much food photography over this last year, and like I love just the kind of messy, drippy like element that they have in their photos and in the brand. I think it's really beautiful.
Totally. So yeah, this is like a big part, and I'm sure a lot of this is user generated in some way.
Yeah, can you click into some? I just want to like click around in the description and see if maybe they're giving credit to like if they're mentioning ambassadors.
This might
Okay,
not be, this
maybe
means,
not that one.
yeah, let's see. Maybe this one.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, that looks like maybe a brand collab.
Yeah, I want to see where the user generated stuff is.
I mean, maybe,
It's in their story or something.
well, I feel like maybe some of those ones, those images just of like the food down below, like that one, or
This
that's a
one?
reel.
That's a Let me put this one.
Maybe. I don't know, these look fairly like produced, so maybe they are from the brand. Okay, no. Yeah, super strong, like very brand led.
Yeah.
Maybe scroll back down just to, oh wait. Oh, nope, keep going. I'm looking for just like a regular photo
Yeah.
of the food. Maybe, oh, there's like a lot of reels.
A lot
Okay,
of,
they're on their Instagram game. What about that sushi roll?
oh, this musubi. Yeah. Yeah, this looks,
Oh,
oh,
wait. Okay, got it. Yeah, I was like, spam. Wait, this looks like a nice post. Okay, got it. Okay, can you click on that?
right
Who is
here.
that? Yeah, could this be? Or maybe they're just resharing. Okay, got it. So this is not.
Yeah, yeah, share.
Okay, interesting. So I'm curious, which, and maybe we just would need to dig a little bit deeper, but I would feel like if content was like the primary
Oh, maybe
element.
this is some user generated stuff. This looks a little bit.
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
okay, here we go. Oh, and these are things that they're tagged in. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
This person's probably in their ambassador program or
Yes. Oh, totally. Okay. So it's more so they're not creating content that they want to reshare on their profile, which makes sense. If they're really brand led, you often don't want to like democratize your content because you want to have a really consistent brand ethos. But I like that the strategy is still to generate content, but for the purpose of ambassadors sharing with their own network. Highly approve.
yeah. So yeah, this is their Instagram page. Okay, now let's see. So back to this page. So when I clicked apply here, I immediately got sent to, or got this prompt here to go to Shopify.
Yeah.
To continue my application to be a part of this program. And yeah, so I went through the application process, and some things that were interesting were, one, like I had to fill out like a 6-part, I already submitted the application, so that's what you see here, but I had to fill out like a mini application that was like 6 multiple choice or like single choice kind of a form to apply. And then I had to connect my Instagram account to as a part of the application process. And then I had to hit submit. So it wasn't like a lengthy process, but it wasn't like a seamless process as well. And I never really have to, in most brand applications that I've ever filled out for this type of stuff. I've never had to really attach or connect my social accounts to it. So I thought that that was interesting within this process. And I applied like last night and haven't heard back yet from this, but I'll keep an eye on it and give y'all an update if y'all are interested.
You won't
Who
be too
knows?
offended if you don't get accepted as a Immi
That would be
ambassador.
sad. That would be sad. We would have to send them this video and be like, hey, Immi community, like we dissected your community. Can you approve me? Yeah, so that's kind of like that was the process for applying to be an ambassador through this one page. And
So,
then
oh yeah, actually, so right on that page, community Immi, if you can go back, because this was the one that you did this Google search results.
Oh, go back, yeah.
If you can just click the back arrow for this one, I wanted to, when you went to the Google search results, that second article, how this plant-based ramen brand built a community. I'm so curious.
We click it?
Yeah, I'm like curious what that, because clearly it like, I mean, it's even above their like Facebook community. So I just want to click into it real quick.
Totally.
Of thousands prior to launching. Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I mean, it's clear that Immi and Shopify have a pretty strong partnership.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I think
Okay, interesting. Cool. I'd be so interested to like listen to this later just to hear a little bit more of their background.
yeah.
Cool. Okay. Just a little rabbit trail.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back. So that's kind of like what the process of applying to be an ambassador is. But now we'll dive into the Facebook group, which is the third result when I look up Immi Ramen community on Google. And that is, I had to apply or request to join this community, this private community on Facebook, and I just got approved this morning. So yeah, we're in their private community right now, and yeah, taking a look around, it seems like featured posts here are really around customers and people who are fans of Immi Ramen, just posting their day-to-day. They have I think when you join, they have this welcome prompt here, which is pretty cool.
Cool. Okay, here, wait. Actually, I want to read through this. We'd love to hear more about you. Okay, got it. This is your introduction post. So introduce yourself. What do you love most about ramen? What don't you like about ramen, or what? Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'll just dive into the feed a little bit. I do love that people are posting pretty regularly. There are almost 7,000 members in the community.
Yeah.
You know, so
interesting. Can you keep scrolling a little bit? I want to like check out some of the engagement on these posts. And yeah, you can just, I mean, people are posting, which is like honestly a lot of times the hardest part, and they're like posting videos and photos. So it makes me wonder, are some of these people ambassadors also coming into this community?
yeah.
Love the shrimp. Okay, so basically people posting what they love. All right.
Yeah. So it's pretty solid engagement. Oh, this one got.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I want to see this one. Okay, admin.
One of the founders.
Got it.
He posted that he got married. So,
Cool. Okay, fun.
yeah.
Cute. Okay, cool. Lots of comments then too.
Yeah, so lots of comments, lots of congratulations.
Okay, let's do one more below this. Just want to see.
Want to see some comments, you said?
Oh, let's just do one more post if you just want to scroll down to one more.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Lots of love for the wedding. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's interesting. There's except for that wedding post, there's not a single comment that I've
Oh,
seen. Okay, wait, this one. Is this
this is the founder
also
though.
a founder?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, super cool that they have so many people posting. I
Yeah.
almost wonder if this is like, I'm like, what's the incentive here? Because I'm not seeing a ton of like social like people jumping in and celebrating as an incentive. So I almost wonder, because they said on the ambassador page that there's like tiered incentives. And I wonder if like posting to your social and then posting to this customer community is a part of the incentive for ambassadors. I would be really curious. But because I'm like, why is everyone like they're posting what they love, which is awesome, but I'm just like, why?
I know. I
You
know.
know, like, and okay, there we go. There's a couple comments.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, we talk about this a lot in a lot of the communities that we dissect, but this definitely, it feels like somewhat community driven overall, but I think like this is more just ambassador driven and they just kind of slap the community name on it. And I feel like I don't really have, if it just feels like if I was an ambassador, it's like I have some incentive to post and create content around kind of me and Immi Ramen and all that, but like I don't think it goes past a certain point of kind of engagement or depth there. So yeah, I just and I can and like with that mindset, I think when I go into this community on Facebook, I'm just like, it doesn't feel like that lively, to be
Mhm,
honest.
mhm.
It kind of just feels like a place that for the most part is pretty inactive or dormant, but every so often there might be like a post that's like, oh wow, and then it like picks up a little bit in terms of energy in the
Uh-huh.
space, but then I feel like the energy can die really quickly in a place like this too, and yeah,
Yeah.
and when we dissected the other brand, there's another brand that had a Facebook group too, and it felt very similar in terms
Mm,
of what that
yeah.
space felt like as well. So that's kind of how I'm feeling about this. I do feel like I do love how visible the founders are though, right?
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
they are doing a lot of work to bring people into why they built this brand and the story behind it and being vulnerable and transparent and sharing their lives with people who love
Mhm,
Immi. And I think
mhm.
that that is incredible. And I love that they're doing that because that makes you have a deeper relationship with the brand, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I think that that's something that we're seeing more of in kind of the brand world, and I would
Yeah.
love to continue to see, um, moving forward and finding ways to be visible and to share that story because there are
Mhm,
so many ramen brands in the world, right? But like I'm
mhm,
sure people feel tied to this brand because of the fact that they know both of the Kevins.
mm. Mhm,
So
mhm.
yeah, that's something that I feel when I'm in here and as I
Yeah.
engage and learn more about their brand.
Yeah. Yeah, that brought up a lot for me as you were talking. I think what I love is that it does, I would bet money that like there's some incentive for ambassadors to post here. And so I love like infusing like it feels like a really good overlap between like the ambassadors who I would kind of count as like if this is like their customer community, ambassadors are like at a leadership level or like they're just like at a like an elevated level of like actions that the brand expects from them and like incentives that they can earn. So I do like that overlap. It feels though like um and I understand how this happens, especially for brand-led companies. They're really hesitant to their focus is usually entirely on like the customer's relationship directly with the brand. And even in the community space, it's hard for them to kind of like release some of that tight control because they really care about fostering like the brand image and messaging. But what I would love to see happen here is for there to be more focus on these customers not only connecting with the brand, but also creating and fostering a space where customers can connect with each other. So, and that can be as simple as like, hey, ambassadors, after you post, like find one other video that you like and like let them know in the comments. Number one, as a prompt for ambassadors. Number two, like I want to see and maybe they just don't have the person hired yet, but like I would love to see somebody from the Immi Ramen team like commenting on each of these videos, because that would be a really great way, even if they are like really focused on that brand to customer relationship, that would be strengthening that connection, just to have someone from the team internally commenting on each video and saying like, hey, this is awesome, or tagging somebody else who, like another ambassador who posted a video last week that was really similar, or, like having a community manager who can help start to draw the lines between those connections is so critical in a space like this. If you truly want it to be community led, if it's really just more of like a brand and marketing space, that's also fine. And like, I think they're clearly doing some things right here. But if I would challenge them to consider a more community-led approach and weave into their strategy ways that they can bring these customers together to connect them to each other.
Completely agreed. And like, I'm sure that the founders aren't able to see every single comment that comes in every day and respond every single day. So like, it'd be good to have at least some other moderator of the space or someone to come in and keep the community engaged. So I completely agree.
Or like your best ambassador, like your ambassador who's crushing it, who's super engaged, who posts all the time, just say like, hey, we'd love to like pay you, like contract out some work with like having you moderate this space, and just like, or even like saying like, hey, would you be a part of our like welcome committee, or a part of our like Immi Ramen, I don't know, cheerleader club, whatever you want to like call it. Give it a title and give it a responsibility, saying like, hey, whenever someone posts, like we just want to show the love and like make them feel like really supported for what they created for us, however you want to phrase it. But there's ways that you can do that without even necessarily having to like hire a full-time person to build that momentum for you.
Yeah, and they have 7,000 people in here. You have fertile soil to plant these seeds and to cultivate this community, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and I think the founders understand how to build relationships here, and yeah, I feel like there's a cool opportunity to do that and just create a lot more energy and buzz within this community. So.
What do you think about this being a private community? I'm curious your thoughts on that.
I mean, I requested to come in literally at like, I think 8 p.m. Pacific last night, and I got in this morning. So I don't know if it's really that, I mean, it's private enough, but it doesn't feel like it's that private. I feel like people kind of just get like approved pretty easily. And so I guess back to your question, maybe it should just be a public community then, because if it's that easy to get in, it's not like pressing that button to request to be in there is that big of a gating mechanism, right?
Yeah. It's tricky. I do appreciate like some friction in an application process to join a community, because I think it does. And I think public Facebook groups can open you up to like crazy amounts of moderation, and just like, because you do kind of open yourself up to that. But I'm curious. I'm just curious. I don't know why they did it as a private community, because it does seem like all of the content in here that's being posted is more like external brand. Like when I think of a private community, I think like, oh, they're going to be like, this just seems very like brand marketing to me, which seems very external. And I think of a private community as like maybe they will do like an ask me anything. Actually, is there an events tab here? I just want to see if there, oh yeah, there is. Because that's another, like, maybe there's like more. Okay. Okay. What about, is there past? No past events in Facebook. Oh, yeah. Like if I would expect to see in a private community, like we're going to have an AMA with our founders, or our ambassador, Derrick, is going to give us like a live tutorial of just how easy it is to use Immi Ramen. Like, I think something that's a little bit more dynamic, but just like a wall of like posts feels, to me at this point, feels like external brand marketing. So I'm just surprised. It feels a little bit like disconnected from what I would expect in a private community.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I think if part of the ambassador program is also to help incentivize ambassadors to build a better product for Immi, like whether it's creating new flavors or whether it's, I don't know, but something along those lines, I feel like that could also be a cool dimension to this too. And maybe it's part of the ambassador program, but maybe it isn't, and could be an opportunity for them to expand the program. Because then that would start to feel more community driven, right? You're moving towards that. So yeah, I'm curious to see that. But right here, like you said, it's kind of like the endless feed is just like you're seeing stuff and you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it really brings, as someone who like hasn't tried the product, I'm like, okay, I would want to try it, but it doesn't feel like it takes me to the next level of value, which I think a good private community would do. Not saying this isn't a good private community, but anyways, the one thing I'm also like super curious about, I actually, if you get accepted to the ambassador program, I want to do like a second part to this, because I'm so curious about their incentive structure for ambassadors, because that will tell us more about what the whole purpose of the program. Because right now it's like, I see it as like, it seems like micro influencers generating content, and as a byproduct, if they get any sales, that's great. And I built an ambassador in my former life, and our structure was a little bit swapped. We were like, the incentive was sales, and the byproduct of going after sales was a ton of content was produced. So we made like the main goal and objective, like generating sales. And then we used content as like one of the mechanisms and ways that they can do that. And I really preferred that model because, well, it just depends on who your target customer is, I suppose, at the end of the day. But for us, we had like really, like, part of our whole program, like we had some really substantial sales goals behind it. That was like one of the main ways that it was the primary way that the brand grew. And so what we found with content is, like, you can teach someone, how do I want to say this? Sales is much harder than taking a picture. I mean, there's an art, I don't want to diminish anybody in the creative space, but like for an average person who like doesn't have like a ton of skills either in like content creation or in sales, I would say like 90% of people are going to be more terrified of sales than they are of like posting a photo on Instagram. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So we kind of were like, okay, it's going to be harder for them to make the sale. So that's where we need to like create a ton of like both resources to help them know how to do it, but also a ton of incentive, because that's going to be the hardest thing that they do. And content was a byproduct of that, but it wasn't the main thing. So I'm curious how the strategy is playing out for them, what their sales do look like. Because I know for us, like when we went through so many different iterations and so many different like strategic pivots. And for us, when we did focus on content, we didn't see the return in sales, because it's like, it's just the first step, but there's like a whole process of sales behind it that we felt like, it's like they kind of like mentally were like, I've done the thing, I've checked it off my list, with the content side, and then they never like followed all the way through to sales. So
Yeah.
those are, I'd be so curious to see the incentive structure.
Yeah. And I completely agree. And I think that back to your point about making sure that you're kind of training them to be able to create content that sells. I'd imagine that if I'm thinking about it from the Immi perspective, I'm having people create a lot of Instagram content, right? So as part of the ambassador program, hopefully they are doing some level of basic training around how to take like really good reels, or how do you take like a good photo, right? What do you look for in doing that? And helping ambassadors who might not know that or have experience with that, be able to understand, okay, like this is kind of the aesthetic that we should go for. And this can help me generate content that will sell and give me that commission from Immi. I feel like hopefully Immi is doing some level of that. I feel like just some basic level is to get people started, but yeah, I'm hoping that that's the case, because then there's a whole kind of, there's a whole art to that, I think, and Immi is very Instagram driven, and they didn't send me to their TikTok page, but I'm sure that their TikTok page is pretty lively as well. So
yeah, if not, their ambassadors are certainly posting there, even if they're not as much. Yeah. Wow. Cool. Well, overall, I'm really pleased with like the brand, and that they have like they're at the beginning of thinking about community things. And I'm like, and I do love a good ambassador program. So I'm hopeful that maybe we'll be able to take a peek behind the curtain there. But yeah, I think we talked about a couple things that could produce a little bit more of a community-led approach for Immi Ramen. But overall, I think they have a really beautiful brand, and they have a strong foundation to build a community on.
totally, yeah, I completely agree. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they're able to do as they become more community led. I think that's a great opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, were there any other notes from your deck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those were the key things.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining, and we will see you next week on Community Dissection.
Bye, everyone.